All right, today we are covering how to multiply polynomials and monomials. So I will tell you, you can wipe away the tears from your eyes. This is the last lesson that we are going to get to this year. I know this right here says 8.2, but it actually follows after chapter 7, so I labeled it 7.3. You're going to see on your practice work down here that, well, didn't come through very well, but I have 7.2, and these are pictures, so you're going to have to, I don't know if it's going to let me do it on my iPad, you're going to have to move that down. There we go. Well, let's start it, and you can see there's a whole lot of questions there if I don't move in. There we go. All right, so I actually had to combine two sections together here, so that's why you'll see this one that's highlighted right now. That's page 37, odds. And if I move this one down, they should go separately, but you can see, of course, nothing is working together, but it is, there we go, that is page 44, odds. Okay, so page 37 and page 44, odds. There we go. Now they fit on nicely, so you might have to do that as well. All right, so let's get back to here. Multiplying them together today, it's actually not as bad. If you didn't like those rules of exponents, we have to use the rules of exponents when we're multiplying them, but it's much easier. So today's lesson is pretty much just distributive property. That's all we're doing. We are distributing whatever is outside the parentheses, but we have to use our rules of exponents when we have to multiply exponents together. So let's take a look at our first example. We have to find 6y times 4y squared minus 9y minus 7. So again, distributive property. So we take, and actually for this one, I might write it out. So I need to do 6y times 4y squared minus 6y times 9y minus 6y times 7. So if I multiply these first two together, 6 times 4 is 24, y times y squared is y cubed, minus 6 times 9 is 54, y times y is y squared, and 6 times 7 is 42 times my y. Now, we also need to simplify this, but if you look, remember when we simplify variables, they have to have the same variable, which they all do, they all have a y, but they also have to have the same exponents. The first one has an exponent of 3, that one has an exponent of 2, and the last one has an exponent of 1. So they're all completely different terms, so therefore you're done with that one. So take a moment, try the your turn, then come back and check. All right, so you should have ended up with 6y cubed plus 9y squared plus 6x cubed plus 9x squared plus 15x. All right, example 2. We're doing the same thing, except there's just 2 of them here, and then we have to simplify. So no big deal. You guys have done lots of stuff like this before. So distributing the 3, we get 6t squared minus 4t. So this first one is literally just distributing like we did way back when, the first week of the marking period, or the semester even, minus 45. Then we have to put plus. Now, I have to distribute that whole thing. So 6 times 5 is 30. T times t is t squared, plus 6 times 2 is 12t. So now we have to go through and look. Okay. I have a t squared here. Do I have any other t squareds? Oh, we do. Now remember, when we are combining like terms, we put that symbol in front of it. Then I have a minus 4t. Oh, but then I have a plus 12t. And then I have just a minus 45 by itself. I like to put, and actually it's not just because I like to, we always put the largest exponent first. So t squared is my largest exponent. So 6t squared plus 30t squared. That gives me 36t squared. So I took care of both of those. I have a negative 4t and a positive 12t. So we have to take 12 minus 4, and we get 8t. So that's a plus 8t. Cross those two off. I don't have anything to put with my minus 45, so I just put minus 45. Okay, pretty straightforward. Again, take a moment, try the your turn, and then come back. All right, so hopefully I'm not making any mistakes here, but 20y squared plus 8y squared is 28y squared. 25y plus 6y is 31y, and then our minus 10. All right, so we're going to continue the same thing with example 3, except we now have an equal sign in our problem. Okay, so we're not just simplifying, we're solving. So start off, always distribute first. So we get 12b plus b squared minus 7 equals 2b plus, and now I have to distribute that b. So plus, that's a negative 4, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to a minus 4b plus b squared. So now I need to move everything from one side to the other. So let's look at the left side. I can't simplify anything there, but this right side I can. So I'm going to rewrite the left side. Remember, when it's on the same side, we just combine like terms. Some of you are adding the opposite, but when it's on the same side, we combine like terms. So that actually gives me a negative 2b plus b squared. So I need to get all my b squareds on the same side. So I'm going to subtract this b squared. And then look, all my b squareds went away, which is great. So now I have 12b minus 7 equals negative 2b. So I'm going to subtract 12b from both sides. We get negative 7 equals negative 14b. And then divide everything by negative 14. Don't you dare write 2. So negative is positive. Where is that larger number? 14's on the bottom, so 2 goes on the bottom, 1 goes on the top. Okay? All right, so that problem there just combined distributive property, rules of exponents, and solving equations. So that one problem just combined 3 different concepts, at least 3 different concepts that we have covered throughout this course. All right, so take a moment, try the your turn, and then we're almost done with today's lesson. All right, so hopefully you got one of those two answers. If not, just pause it, try again, check your work with mine here, and then move on. All right, example 4. Oh, 2 more examples. All right, this one I'm putting in here today. This was technically another lesson, but it's something that's really important, and it's just like the distributive property twice. So I figured I would sneak 2 examples in here for you guys. I know. I bet you're so happy. So this is when we have a binomial times a binomial, okay? A binomial means I have 2 terms times 2 terms. If you look, I'm just trying to find an easier version of one. This one I had 1 term times 3 terms. So that was a monomial times a trinomial. If we had more time, that lesson came in here some, but knowing those terms isn't necessary to do this. So what we have to do, there's a process called foiling, where we do the first, the outside, the inside last, but really it's just distributive property twice. So that's all I'm going to do today, is I need to take the y times the y. I need to take that y times both of those terms. So I'm going to write this all out for the first example. So we have y times y, and then I do plus, and I took y times -4. All right, and now I need to take, let me get a different color. Now I need to take the 8 times the both. So that's a plus, so plus, oh, that one's sort of big. There we go. 8 times y plus 8 times -4. So see how we just distributed the y to both terms and the 8 to both terms. So y times y is y squared. Y times -4 is a -4y, so you could put plus -4y. I have my plus 8y, and then I have a minus 32. And now both of my middle terms have y's, so to simplify this, we do y squared. -4y plus 8y is plus 4y minus 32. Okay, and we're not solving, we're just simplifying, we're just multiplying, so that is our answer. So take a moment, try the your turn, and then come back and double check your work. All right, so you should have been again, c squared minus 2c minus 8. All right, the last example is no different. It's the same thing. It just has some numbers in front of the variables, but you do the same thing. I need to do 5x times both of them. So 5x times 2x plus 5x times 8. Then we're going to do -4 times 2x plus -4 times 8. So I get 10x squared plus 40x minus 8x, minus 32. So we get 10x squared plus 32x minus 32. All right, so take a moment, try the last your turn. All right, so that your last problem should be 6x squared minus 8x minus 30. All right, and you are going to see here on your practice work, each of these are from different pages. So make sure you check those answers out when you get there. All right, so you guys did it. We did all of our notes. Sorry, I think earlier when I went to move those down, that's when these two are separate. For the last section, it's all one page and it looks like it's there. Yeah, so you may not have to move that one down. It's this last one. Sorry, I think I said my last video you had to move it down, but really you had to move it down for this lesson. But either way, once you guys get this practice work done, we are done for the year. So great job. Thanks for sticking with us through all of this crazy online learning. And if you guys have any questions, just let me